Hello, folks. I greet you. It's a Friday, and I welcome you one and all to another program in the series, Journalist Hangout. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Now, today on the program, President Tinubu tasks governors on food security in our weekend special following recent abduction of its students. Management of Confluence University of Science and Technology, Oshara, Kogi State, beefs up security to prevent a recurrence, and later on we'll share this with you. Borno Speaker Abdul Karim Lawan urges Nigerian Army to take over Guzamala and Abadam in Borno North to enable IDPs return home. I'm hanging out with the one, the only Babajide Kolade Otitoju, BKO. BKO, good evening to you.
Good evening, the citizen. Good evening, our esteemed viewers.
BKO, we are joined by Babyface Adekunle Yusuf.
Babyface assassin. Babyface assassin. The all-repentant supporter of Donald Trump.
He just spoke about it. I asked him to wait until after
He's unapologetic.
Okay, folks, the team is ready. I hope you are. All right, let's go straight. In a world where 1/3 of all edible food never makes it to the mouths of the hungry, we all have an individual moral responsibility to do our part. Hunger is not an issue of charity. The #1 citizen, President Bola Tinubu, has urged state governors to work together to meet the needs of citizens, stating that he is willing to provide the needed support to ensure that Nigerians are relieved of hardship. The president added that states must work together to deliver on the critical reforms required of them to meet the needs of the people. The occasion was the Global Integrity International Award on Good Governance, where he, Mr. President, was an award recipient. BKO, we have no choice.
Yes, and the president was right to appeal to governors to do the needful. The land belongs to the states.
That's it.
There is no reason why governors can't cultivate hundreds of thousands of hectares.
Okay.
You know, because the land is there.
Arable.
God so blessed our country that when you look at the climate of Nigeria, you can hardly talk about any country with a better climate. And our soil is extremely fertile.
Oh, yeah.
Alluvial in nature. So what really is the problem? Many years ago, Awolowo, the late sage, built cocoa house, built the
proceeds from cocoa itself.
From cash crops.
Yeah.
Cash crops, not cocoa alone.
Okay.
Cash crops, because we were not limited to cocoa. At that time, farming was given the pride of place that it deserves. Suddenly, because of the cheap funds from oil,
we looked the other way.
we thought today, maybe in those days, they were growing rubber,
Oh, yeah.
palm fruit from the Akwa Ibom area
Yeah.
and the southeast. All of those things now,
Gone.
we are importing processed palm oil today.
Unashamedly.
Whereas Malaysia came here to collect
The seedling.
the seedlings from us, and today Malaysia
they're
is one of the
showing us.
3 best producers of palm oil in the world. I think it's
Right.
only Indonesia that is ahead of them. So we are talking about hunger. States have to say, as a matter of policy, okay, look at Ogun. If you are traveling to Ibadan, on both sides you see arable land, uncultivated.
Oh, yeah.
The governor of Niger State impressed me when he said, okay, so from today, you people should be calling me farmer, so. And he has cultivated more than 1,000 hectares already. He's brought in tractors because we have to embrace mechanized farming. If anybody thinks young people, today's young people, will be attracted to farming by simply telling them, oh, look, our forefathers, they were growing this, they were growing that. They need something that makes life easier for them.
Even those of them who read agriculture are not so...
No, they are not practicing it. They read agriculture simply to have a degree. No, they are not practicing it. So what I'm saying is, we have to encourage young people to get involved in farming. You know why? Our farming population is aging rapidly.
Okay.
Rapidly. So we have to embrace new practices, embrace technology, because that is what we encourage these young people to get involved. Agriculture still remains the highest employer of labor.
Yeah.
And it still gives us our highest quantum of GDP.
Because when I look at on the map, when I see the size of Israel and hear that Israel supplies the fruit needs of much of the world all year round.
Yes,
it's a
they've
marvel.
turned the desert to arable land.
Yeah.
And it can be done. I said there was an Israeli when I was in the north who was working with this company, Dizengoff.
Okay.
You know, we were traveling and he was doing it. So I'm like, what's wrong? He said he can see food.
Wow. He can
see food. And I was taken aback. I said, what is this man talking about? He said, if Israel had all of what you have.
Wow.
And that was when he told me, he said, even in your country, on your mountains, you can grow whatever you like. Yeah. And
the climate is temperate.
On your mountains, you see trees growing.
Oh, yeah.
That's to tell you that if you plant crops, they will grow there. And I've actually seen people plant crops on mountains in the Mambila area.
Okay.
So we just need, especially now that hunger is terrorizing us as a people.
Yeah.
You had Wike yesterday during the award ceremony. He said, who does not know that there is hunger in the land? Who does not know that Nigerians are suffering? So to hear that from a minister in the administration is significant for me. Okay. So we all know that Nigerians are starving at this time. But what are the steps that we are prepared to take? And you talk about what Kogi was doing yesterday, you referred to it. 76 farm clusters.
Wow.
Where people can grow rice and other crops. And it's the government that is clearing the land for you. The government stationed tractors to do all that work for free.
Enabling environment.
Yes, their tractors are clearing the place for you. They are providing you with seedlings, top grade seedlings, so that you can have higher yield. That is what every state should be doing.
At a time like this?
Yes. When you look at Egypt as a country, the progress that Egypt has made with agriculture, we should be ashamed of ourselves. When Egypt decided to discourage their own farmers from growing rice, because rice consumes so much water, and Egypt decided to encourage them to take to wheat farming, Nigeria then overtook Egypt as Africa's biggest rice producer. Okay. If Egypt had not discouraged and even incentivized growing of wheat as against growing rice, there's no way we could have overtaken Egypt. This is the truth. So when we take credit, deceive ourselves, we'll go and collect a rice paddy from neighboring African countries, and we'll now do pyramids and say that this is what we have produced. God is watching those who are doing this kind of things. Because you are refusing to do what you should do, and you are now conning us. You've turned yourself to a scamster by telling Nigerians that, oh, you have produced this rice pyramid. And you know in your heart that you mobilized the rice paddies from Burkina Faso,
Yeah.
from Mali, from Niger Republic. Nigerian companies, Nigerian rice mills, they have gone to the border with Niger and built, what was it called? They built warehouses. But we can produce these rice paddies by ourselves.
BK, I'm sure you have heard the statement, God is blessing America, but is America blessing God? Bring it here. God has blessed Nigeria, but
Sufficiently.
is
But
Nigeria...
has not blessed us sufficiently with the right leaders.
Okay, I see where you're coming from.
Yes. You've blessed us with resources
So what...
that some countries wish they had, but have you blessed us with the right caliber of leaders? The answer, you know the answer.
Blowing in the wind.
No, it's not blowing. The answer is resident here.
Okay then. Adekule, God is watching. I've blessed these people enough. What do they want? So, Mr. President, appealing to the 36 governors is like the father figure at his best.
It goes beyond appeal. And when you read his speech, you will see that I'm seeing a fundamental shift,
Okay.
which is, if pursued very well, will be very great for Nigeria. No big country like Nigeria is developed by the federal government. The states are the biggest drivers of development. And I can see President Tinubu seems to be embracing this. It's a cold fact, but you must embrace it. Whether it comes to road, infrastructure, food security, in fact, security architecture, and so many other things that make the country great. The federal government is an enabler, but the states are the true drivers of development.
Okay.
And that I'm able to deduce from the speech of the president yesterday. You remember I gave them 7 days to come back?
Yeah.
And when you look at Nigeria, when you look at that speech on its own, he seems to be creating some enablers that, if you do this, the Chinese will always say their development always follows, roads. So you will see Lagos, Badagry, Badagry, Sokoto, expressway.
Talk about that route.
That thing started during military rule.
Yeah.
During Obasanjo that time. If you move from Lafenwa, you will see it's straight like. Okay. But that was in that era. If they are going to do it now, I'm sure they won't do that kind of narrow thing. So, and you see the Calabar, Lagos Calabar, those things are not just meant to just beautify the environment.
They are not for
but to open up, when you have roads, infrastructure, it helps. But we need to think deeper. I remember, I think that would be 2012, and I remember General Lania Krinyadi. We were in an interview with him. He's a big farmer. He brought in some Chinese. Okay. And according to him, the Chinese came to Nigeria, and they were wondering that if it's possible for Nigerians to release their country to the Chinese, and we can evacuate the Chinese people down to Nigeria, and that in 10 years, then let's come back to the negotiation table. That do you still want this place, or you want to remain permanently over there? It wasn't funny, but that what we turn this country to in 10 years,
yes,
we will beg to collect it back from them. That
Yusuf, it is on record. Nigeria is the greatest producer of cassava on the planet. So you can't take that away. So can't we take advantage?
Well, I don't go by all these numbers, greatest, largest, longest, when it doesn't add, the real value that we need. Nigerians are hungry. Is it easy to take, Gari in Nigeria? So with our so-called...
more than 4,000 naira per...
So one of...
gold.
Today in Nigeria, the biggest, or let me say the cheapest source of, protein for most Nigerians, what is it? Beans.
Yeah.
Is it affordable now?
It is not.
most people are unable to move near it now because it's not that expensive the way it has never been. So, but we are not trying to...
Because we are not doing the right thing.
No. So now, if you look at it, for example, if you take yam, cassava, plantain, maize, rice, you can do a cluster of states that have comparative advantage on this.
Yeah.
The other day, the Southwest governors were meeting, and one of the things that came out from their meeting was that they realized that they have to cooperate now, do agriculture. And a state like Lagos, which is the least, or let me say the smallest state in Nigeria in terms of land mass, can, go into alliance with a state like Oyo State. Oyo State is the biggest around here. I mean, I'm talking about the Southwest. If you see what Oyo State government is doing in agriculture, they can take it further when you cooperate. You can go to Osun, you can go to Ondo, you can go to...
Not to talk about the middle belt.
These food items I just mentioned, you have this state like Benue, you have Taraba, you have Anambra, Ebonyi, Delta, Ogun, Oyo, Ekiti, Kogi. Because that in the next, we are not saying government should move in directly. They will corrupt it. That's not what we are saying. But
create the enabling environment.
Create the enabling and power individuals that are interested in this. You don't need to have 1,000 growers of cassava. You can have 100 and be the leader in Africa.
We must go to our next story now. A few months after it was invaded by bandits who abducted its students, the management of Confluence University of Science and Technology, Osara in Kogi State,
Osara means
beefed up security to prevent a recurrence of the nightmarish experience. In this journalist hangout weekend special, Babajide Kolade Otitoju was at the university to assess the situation. Let's share this story with you. Let's go there.
On the 20th of August 2020, the then Kogi State government of Alhaji Yahya Adoza Bello established the Confluence University of Science and Technology, Osara, Kogi State, as the 51st state-owned university in Nigeria. The beautiful university located along Okene-Lokoja Road, Osara, in Adavi local government area of Kogi State, was attacked by bandits on Thursday, the 9th of May 2024. The bandits escaped into the forest with many students. Recently, I visited the picturesque school to find out what the school was doing to beef up security in the aftermath of the attack.
Hello, sir. Hello. Yes, sir.
The institution's Vice Chancellor, Professor Abdurrahman Asipita Salau, while narrating what happened on the day, thanked Governor Usman Ododo for rising to the occasion.
The People's Governor of Kogi State, Alhaji Ahmed Usman Ododo, rose to the occasion. In short, we can't thank him enough. It's not precedented, sir. You've been reporting, I've been following you, you've been to Medjugorje, been to Castina yourself. You used to tell us, this is the first time in the history of kidnapping in Nigeria that children were kidnapped. Less than 48 hours. Out of 31, he rescued 21. It's unprecedented. It's due to his efforts.
He praised the men of the Nigerian Armed Forces who chased the bandits into the bush to effect the rescue of students.
From this, our campus, they carry my children and trek to Kaba as we pursue them. Then our gallant officers, security officers, led by army and others, still pursue them up to Kwara boundary, and we recovered the 8 out of 10. May the soul of my 2 students that died rest in peace.
At the time of my visit, soldiers had been put on the campus on guard duty. The governor also approved the perimeter fencing of the school.
Immediately after the incident, he has approved fencing of 100 hectares out of 400 hectares of coastal land. It will be difficult for an intruder to break through the fence and perform their nefarious activities. Hello, please can you all be online? Main gate, DSP Musa.
This is main gate, sir. This is Musa with you, sir.
Now, this is part of the measure.
Main gate, you read from DSP Musa.
On my own, I went to the brigade command of 12th Brigade Command Lokoja. I spoke with Brigadier General Dansuki. We need reassurance of parents and need some army in our gate, at our gate by 6 to 6.
Professor Salau lamented that hunters earlier hired by the institution compromised big time, but after their arrest, they have been replaced by a new set of hunters.
Before now, sir, we engage Bauchi hunters because of their prowess in the past to come and assist us. We never knew they would compromise. Most of them are in DSS net for questioning. We have relieved them of a contract. So they are no more in our campus. So we have re-engaged more local hunters who know the terrain better.
It threw more light on how the security of the institution was compromised.
A fiber cable was cut during the operation. Wow. And they turned the camera up. Yes, that's what happened. So it was unfortunate.
He is happy that the CCTV coverage of the university is fine and working very well.
I can hear the voices, I can see people that are coming, whatever they say, I can hear it. I'll just click, for example, I will see. If this is classroom, if somebody is lecturing, a lecturer is lecturing.
The VC took me around the school and disclosed that as part of security measures being put in place, the forest around the school is being cleared.
You know, even the leveling.
The leveling, yes, it's better here.
The clearing of the forest exposed the fact that a building inside the school had been used by the bandits to prepare for the attack.
So that building had been hiding there unknown to the university management, not until we level this place that it was exposed. Our children were taken through that route.
So this is the route through which they took.
Exactly. That's how they went.
They ended up in
Kaba. So they took them through this route. They first went through Obajana. When the security forces were already trailing them, they entered again and bust out at Kaba.
Professor Salau disclosed that the bandits actually came from Zamfara State.
According to the report we had, is that they came from Zamfara, but they had their permanent camp in Kwara.
Okay.
Yes. They were hired from Zamfara. Dropped them here that very day, and they took them. It's like they have a coordinating plan. Because those that kidnapped the students from here were not the ones taking them. They handed over to another set.
But at least with the clearing.
This confidence building measure, yes, to our parents and students, we can see them afar as they come now.
Governor Osman Ododo, who has been praised for the way he rose to the occasion, recalls the nasty experience of the abduction of KUSTEC students and vowed that it will not happen again. He narrates exactly how the students were rescued.
Within 48 hours, they know it was rough. They knew it was rough. We confronted them, we followed them, and there was no way for them to escape. So there and there we rescued 21. It was the remaining 10 we were struggling to rescue before they killed 2 out of 10, and the remaining 8 were rescued when it was hot. For almost 18 days, we cordoned them. From Kwara, from Kogi, everywhere. They will never come to Kogi State because this last one, they know that Kogi State is not a fertile land for them to come and trade.
The governor vowed never to negotiate with or pay ransom to kidnappers or any criminal for that matter.
How much did you pay as ransom to get them freed?
Pay ransom? Let me tell you. I will not say I will not be the last. I will never negotiate with criminals. I will never negotiate with criminals. Rather, I will take that fight to them. No, when you are negotiating with criminals,
never pay ransom to kidnappers.
I will never pay ransom to kidnappers. I am saying it. Let them hear me. I will never. We are ready. They will always come in their number. They will go in their zeros. When you are negotiating with criminals, you are indirectly empowering them to get more sophisticated weapons to face you. Rather, I will face them. I'm ever ready. I'm out to secure every soul of our dear state. That is what I have signed for, and I'm very committed to it. We must be freed.
The Kogi Emsman says the state will employ technology in seeking to defeat crime. Indeed, I visited the command and control room under construction inside the government house, Lokoja. So before the end of this week, we'll be through with this?
Yes.
When completed, the governor will be able to monitor what goes on in different parts of the state as the chief security officer of the state, and then take action.
Direct situation report when we have our men on the field, like for our vigilantes and our policemen and the army, when they were deployed. From here, the governor can get a first-hand briefing from the field directly to this point and make his input and, of course, be on top of the security situation.
Military Pension Board is pleased to announce the commencement of electronic verification exercise for military pensioners, which will take place from 1st July to 30 September 2024. Pensioners can carry out the verification from the comfort of their homes using a mobile device without the need to gather for physical verification. To carry out the verification, pensioners are required to download the Military Pensions Board electronic verification app named MPB Verification from the Google Play Store for Android phone users or the App Store for iPhone users. The application will take pensioners through a verification process using their National Identification Number (NIN) or Driver's License Number and Bank Verification Number (BVN). For a successful verification, pensioners should ensure that the names on their BVN and NIN or driver's license are the same as those on the MPB database. The exercise will run for the period of 3 months only. Pensioners who are unable to complete their verification by 30 September 2024 would have their pensions suspended. Therefore, pensioners are advised to carry out their verification within the stipulated period. Management Announcer.
Light up your life, oh. Come and want to light up your house, oh. Come and want to give you better. Come and extraordinary wonder. Come and cable speed, come and wire speed. Come and quality, come and durable, come and capable, oh yo yo. Come and cable speed, come and wire speed. Come and quality, come and durable, come and capable, oh yo yo. Everybody, come and see. Come and wire wonder things. Brother, sister, uncle, auntie, go get your own. Come and wire some fan. Come and cable some fan. Come and quality, come and durable, come and capable. Come and wire some fan. Come and cable some fan. Come and quality, come and durable, come and capable.
Coleman Wires and Cable. Great quality. Now with the new look.
Yeah, welcome back, folks. Adekunle, for BKO, it was a full day because they say pictures don't tell lies. We've seen it.
Yep.
That's grabbing the bull by the horns.
You need to understand that Kogi State has a unique, history.
Okay.
It is the only state that is bordered by about 10 states.
10 states, yeah.
So if that state fails, it can paralyze the entire country. From if it shares border with FCT, Ekiti, and so, Anambra, Benue, Kwara, all Nasara. There is no state that has that kind of. If insecurity is allowed to fester in that place, you can imagine all those states will also be affected. So,
and the FCT.
And yes, including FCT. So when we want to discuss development, there are some places in Nigeria that are extremely strategic, that not just any man should become governors or whatever there. If you want to do commissioner of police, military formation, whatever, not just anybody, because by God's, creation, that's one of the states. And you can see what the governor is putting in place. I pray it works, because it will be a model for many other guys, to copy. That from the government,
speed, as they say.
From the government house, you can monitor. Kogi is big. You can monitor what is happening in the entire state. That would be a marvelous thing. How many years have we been battling with Boko Haram? We haven't made, required level of progress. Insurgency, banditry, all these things. Now, kidnapping becomes the most lucrative to the criminals now. So, to solve it, we need to embrace technology. And I'm totally in support of this, because we're in the modern world now. If you reap the benefits of technology, most of our problems.
That situation room, where the governor can sit and monitor his...
that the governor
key.
can put a constant briefing about happenings in the state. And it now depends on what he does or what he refuses to do. But there is no governor that we want his state to fail. So I'm totally in support. I'm impressed.
Yeah. Jide, as the white man says, they say thunder does not strike a place twice. So the governor saying never again.
Yes.
For me, the thing that gives me joy.
Yes, and I think he's also a very direct and very focused person in terms of how he responds to situations. That's cool. Is sitting on a huge expanse of land.
Yeah.
Now, he realizes that he cannot do perimeter fencing around the school to accommodate their entire land. So what he has done is to say, okay, because money is the issue here. If you want to fence the entire school land area, I'm not sure they can find the money.
Oh, yeah.
So what he has done is to shrink that piece of land to be able to accommodate the resources at their disposal to build a wall around the school. And then by getting tractors to clear the forest, you can, then they are creating observatories.
All right.
Yes.
So it's easy to see
observatories
and see anything that's coming.
5 meters high.
All right.
So from there they can see what is coming. And now that they've decided to clear the forest significantly, it means that as they are coming, they can see them.
That's it.
So because before now there was no wall around the school, and you look left and right, you see forest as far as the eyes can see, and a mountain. Probably the other side of it is Kaba. So the situation permitted the terrorists to do what they did. But one thing that also happened that Nigerians should prepare for, Nigerian leaders, don't trust even your security men to the point that you can go to bed believing that nothing will happen.
All is well.
They hired security men from a state in the north that was reputed to have excellent hunters. But what did we see? They connived with the bandits. They connived with the bandits. Now they've been arrested. The DSS is holding those guys. They've now had to hire a fresh set of hunters. The CCTV, they had CCTV, but in those classrooms that those boys stormed, they had the CCTV cameras looking at the ceiling. And they cut the fibers. They cut so that the CCTV didn't work on that day.
Insider's job.
Yes. So there were people who connived with these bandits from within the school. And look at the revelation, that building. At the time when they started weeding the forest, they then discovered that there was a tiny building deep inside the forest. They showed us that picture earlier, which was where those guys had been planning. Yes, they didn't know that right inside the campus. That will happen when you don't have a perimeter fencing that accommodates the whole your whole land area. So I'm happy now that these confidence boosting measures are taking place. Look at it, the tractor.
Okay,
see that building?
House. Yeah.
See the house?
Really?
Yes. It was when they removed these trees that they now discovered that building was there. They never knew.
Okay.
They never knew. So we have a big battle with these terrorists, with these bandits. We have to realize it because it is such a big business. Look at the way the VC analyzed this thing. The sponsors of the kidnap are actually from Zamfara State. They have cells in Kwara. They gave the job to the cell in Kwara to organize. So the ones who carried out the attack handed over the students to a different set of bandits. So it's like a relay. Well, it shows how organized those guys are, and it also underlines the fact that our security agents must be one step ahead.
Game, yeah.
Because the enemy is constantly planning. Enemy is going, and you have to be ready for the enemy. Now, with what has happened, even other schools, other tertiary institutions in the state, they are taking measures, to ensure that this kind of thing doesn't happen again. And I'm happy to hear that those guys were dead severely with, and they were able to secure the release of all but 2 of the students. Yes,
okay.
It's unfortunate that we lost those 2 students, but the significant thing is that ransom was not paid. All the checks that I made showed that they didn't pay ransom.
Okay.
So that means it's possible. It's possible if we create a situation or if we literally asphyxiate them, they'll be thinking of how to escape rather than how to collect money from you.
Yusuf, so this thing is not rocket science. It can be done.
It is not rocket science.
Yes.
What is our security agencies doing? That's one sector that requires a lot of reforms. We are not living in 100 years ago. This is a new world. How do you plan all these kind of things? You will use your phones. You will use the banks. You use many other things. Then what are they doing?
Because the leads are there.
Believe me, I get, angry when they say they abduct 100, students in so place. I say, and this is a country where you have our security agencies warning that they want to embarrass the president, they want to blackmail the governor, I said, the real job, if you know you are sounding proactive, service, this is one area you should be working. Nip these things in the bud. This is not a one-man thing. It requires a lot of people, movement of money, cash, planning, doing, through phones. There is so many things you can do. But here, they will plan, move, do everything, and Nigeria, gets embarrassed all the time. This must up with technology. With technology, we are embarrassing the world the way everything is happening as if it's a rocket science. It is not a rocket science. It is not.
All right. Because but what new can we say? Safe to wish Governor Ododo Godspeed. At least it.
Is it Ododo or Ododo?
Ododo. Flower.
Now, there's a level of confidence for students. Look, at least we are sure this may not take place, not until we finish.
My suspicion was that, they felt Yabelo, everybody will give Yabelo praise for his
vision,
capacity when it comes to security. It was particularly very good. There were occasions when he even accompanied the security agencies into the den of terrorists. You know, he had the courage to take some steps in his time. Some of them must have felt that Ododo was gentle looking and would not be able to
unassuming
handle this kind of situation. But they forgot that he was part of that administration, and these things that they did, the success, as he always says, the success, the failures, I'm part of it. So once this happened, he knew what to do, and he was really uncompromising. And at the end of the day, he got the results that he wanted, apart from the death of those 2 students. He got the results that he wanted. He worked closely with the National Security Advisor, and they came up with a plan. They had these guys surrounded. They knew they could not escape. They had to release the students without paying ransom. Without paying ransom. So
which is saying we can call the bluff of these bad guys.
Once if you have them surrounded, what are they going to do? They won't be able to escape now. But a situation in which terrorists will take 130-something students away, and we don't mount a response even. The CDS told me that they did not even know the last attack in Kaduna, that they were not aware until the next day. So if you are not aware until the next day, how do you then stop them from escaping with the children to their camps? That's what happened.
Thankfully, we are getting somewhere. So there's light at the end of end of the tunnel, as they say.
Yes.
Okay, to our next story. You know, our last but not the least story. Home, we are told, is a shelter from storms, all sorts of storms. That indigents of Guzamala and Abadam local government areas of Borno State have not been home for some time now is very depressing indeed. The Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Abdul Karim Lawan, laments the absence of a single person in the council area on the commemoration of the 2024 Democracy Day festivities. No thanks to the activities of Boko Haram insurgents. He has therefore appealed to the federal government and the military to liberate the 2 local government areas of Guzamala and Bukawa. Civil authority must be restored in these places as the citizens there need to be resettled. Let's share the story by Jesse Tafida of TVC News. Let's go there.
The Borno state government under the Zulum-led administration has continued to ensure safe return of IDPs back to their places of abode. With peace gradually returning to most parts of the state, thousands of IDPs have already returned. This was made possible through effective synergy between government and security operatives. But the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Abdul Karim Lawan, is concerned about his people who are yet to go back.
I'm appealing to you and the Nigerian military and the federal government to take more action to bring sanity to the northern part of Borno State. Our people will have no access to their farmland. Our children don't have access to the Western education and Islamic education in northern part of Borno State. Even the garrison town of Borno is only the local government headquarters accessible.
He wants security operatives to up their game in that axis so as to deal decisively with remnants of the insurgents.
I don't know if there is any security deployment in the last 2 or 3 weeks. But before then, there is no military personnel in Kuka local government to protect the civilian. Appeal to the Nigerian security, Nigerian military, the federal government to police deploy security agencies to the local government. Because our people will continue to stay in IDP camp for more than decades, Your Excellency. All our people in Guzamala, some of them were living in Nigerian Republic, some of them were living in Borno, some people are living in Nigeria, some people were living here in Maiduguri in the host community.
For this call by the Speaker, IDPs from Abadam and Guzamala local councils are hopeful they will soon return home. Jesse Tafida, TVC News, Maiduguri.
Yeah, Biko, the Speaker more like saw tomorrow today, and he had been speaking about it.
No, he's been speaking about this for years.
Okay.
Sometimes when he says this, people will think that he's joking. But that's his local government. He hails from Guzamala local government.
Okay.
Boko Haram insurgents killed more than 110 soldiers in one day in Guzamala local government, Gudumbali, the headquarters. In fact, when you go to Gudumbali, you will see an epitaph in honor of the soldiers that those boys slaughtered in one day. And after that, I think sometime in 2018, Buratai, the chief of army staff, sent troops back to Guzamala. Again, the troops were chased out of that location. So my suspicion was that after that, they just felt no more. So civilians are not staying there. No one is staying there. It's not safe to stay there. Soldiers have chosen not to go there. In the case of Abadam, with Malam Fatori as the headquarters, there are soldiers in Abadam, but no civilian. Abadam, Malam Fatori, was where the late tank commander, Colonel Abu Ali, was murdered by Boko Haram insurgents in 2016. So since then, soldiers have been on that location. In fact, we have a good number of T-72 Russian tanks on that location. But civilians, they are not staying there. So you have a situation in which that whole local government, people have stayed away. There are some locations along the route that people have also... Borno is a place where you find that the local government alone is the only place where people stay in. Local government headquarters alone is the only place where you find people. In some cases, you find people in 2 communities in an entire local government. And some of those local governments are among the largest in Nigeria.
Okay.
You look at Damboa, you look at Konduga. Konduga is one of the biggest local governments in Nigeria. It is only in Dalori and Konduga that you find people living.
Wow.
You go to Monguno local government. That is the local government of the governor.
Okay.
Professor Umara Zulum. Zulum is a community in Monguno local government. No one has lived in Zulum since 2014.
Wow.
The governor's...
Yes. The governor has an adopted town. It's called Mafa. Mafa is not far from the state capital. It's less than 50 kilometers to the state capital. I've been there a number of times. That's the governor's adopted local government. But his local government of Bath is Zulum. No one has lived there. There are many communities. The other day I was talking about the Minister of Agric now.
Okay.
And I said he had not been to his town since 2016. He said, no, I've not been there since 2014. He corrected me. So this is the situation. You find that a stretch of 117 kilometers in Borno State, nobody is living in them, especially in Borno North. When they want to do election, they do election in one safe local government quarters. Yeah. So that is the thing. So even now, when Boko Haram has been terribly decimated to the point that they do not carry out attacks on military bases anymore. I don't think they have that capability anymore. People still don't feel safe.
Returning to their homesteads.
Now, these people that the speaker was talking about, because they are located around the border, that's the people of Adabadam, They are located close to Niger Republic. Is now saying, let's make moves to bring them from Difa prefecture in Niger Republic and also so that they can come, we secure their community so that they can come and stay there. Those people in the IDP camps, they don't enjoy it because they live on handouts. But we are talking about very hard-working people, very good in farming. And some of the places we are talking about, Abadam, Marte, some of these unsafe places in Borno, they are among the most fertile in our country. They can grow rice and all kinds of crops.
Oh, yeah.
But unfortunately, the people don't feel safe. Bama local government, you go to Bama local government, only two communities where you find people.
Livable.
Yes. No, because of insecurity, they would rather, people would rather not come. The district heads that are living in Maiduguri. When my friend, the speaker's dad, died, he was buried in Maiduguri. You can't take him to Guzamala now, because there's nobody there.
Aye.
And this same request that he made, I was in the palace of the Shehu of Borno last year, when the vice president visited, and the Shehu was pleading that those same communities should be liberated so that our people can go back home. I know that ultimately we have to do that because remember that community, this Kukawa.
Yeah.
Remember because there was no military presence there. Boko Haram now said, okay, we don't want to see anybody leave this place. Now, the speaker confirmed to me that about 5 days ago, soldiers were sent to the place. Because it's an embarrassment for terrorists to be expelling people from their
roaming wild,
from their homesteads. Now we send soldiers to that place. At least that would deter them from carrying out any scorched policy or expelling of our people from their ancestral homes. So we still have a job to do. We still have a job to do. All is not, you cannot, yes, we made progress, I will admit it, but we still have some more work to do to secure those communities and get our people to return home and do the farming that they enjoy doing.
Kule, how do you weigh in on this as we take it home?
Yeah, it's very sad because it shows we have not been sincere enough as a country. And you see leaders at the federal level, even from the state, many of them, you know, spinning the lie that, oh, it's no longer happening, we've liberated the place, everywhere. And at some point, you wonder which one to believe. That, is it true? Is it not true? But here is somebody who is the son of the soil. He said, no, in the last 10 years or more, people are not living that. Is it not an embarrassment for people in 2 local governments? And we are not talking about 10,000. In those 2 local governments, there won't be less than 300,000 people that will be.
Of course. Yusuf, you know, this is not to take anything away from Professor Zulum, the governor. He's trying his level best.
In fact, if not for him,
we won't
even make this kind of progress.
The whole state would have been overrun.
You know, there was a time when he went to Baga and said that he wanted to bring people there. The military said, no, this place is not safe yet.
Not yet.
Suddenly we had gunshots. That day he had to go back. Because he said, this is Baga can supply Nigeria with all the fish that Nigeria wants.
Oh yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
But it's unfortunate that these boys have made life unbearable for our innocent citizens in Borno State.
Thank you.
But I'm confident that this whole thing will come to an end one day. It can't just continue.
It can only get better, yeah. We'll call the bluff of these guys once and for all time. That's all we have time for, folks. And not to worry if you missed any part of this broadcast. At 11 tonight, the repeat broadcast will take the airtime. Don't forget to join us on Sunday between 1:30 and 3:30 for a 2-hour stint. And then we are on YouTube as well at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Bye-bye now. Take care.
is a paid presentation by ShopX TV.
Tired of pans that scratch and stick? Or cookware that takes up valuable space in your kitchen and are of little to no use? Cooking used to be fun, but now it just feels like a chore. Introducing ShopX Gotham Hammered Copper Collection, the perfect cookware to upgrade your cooking experience. The Gotham Hammered Copper Collection features a super durable ultra non-stick surface. Eggs stick to other pans, but with the Hammered Copper Collection, they slide right out. Incredible! Plus, the Cool Touch solid cast handle makes it safe and easy to cook even the hottest dishes. It's oven safe up to 500 degrees, so bake this beautiful chicken suey pizza and serve it straight from the pan. Or this tasty, delicious cake that will have your whole family asking for more. Any recipe can be made in these pans, and then it wipes clean with ease, so cleanup is a breeze.